What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the red color, repping the Gaia civilization, or god, I should say, not civilization, repping the Gaia god here, the Gaia main himself, the bane of my existence, the probably, arguably, the best defender in all of Age of Mythology. His name is Kvoth. His opponent today in the blue color, he is no slouch. He comes from the PXX clan. He is playing as Hades. His name is Julian, and he is going to be attempting to do the impossible this series and upset Kvoth. This is the Champions League qualifiers, round of 32, best of 5. It is time to go. And all of the good things are going to happen. So, Hades versus Gaia on Savannah. We have actually seen Kvoth go for an early economic guild, and he's yet to find his hunt. Neither player has actually clicked the veto button here, though we have seen some zebra on this location. Did we actually see hunting dogs researched? Yes, we did. Very interesting start here. Kvoth actually going for super early husbandry as well. And meanwhile, Julian has found his rhino. So the rhino here for Kvoth is either going to be spawning in this location or in this location. Most likely here is my guesstimate at this point, and we'll be able to take a quick look at that and say, yes, it's there. And Kvoth's going to have to figure out what to do after all is said and done now with this very, very difficult map to deal with. As we see some relics popping up on the map. We come over here, the Mithril Horseshoes, plus 10% cavalry move speed. Very, very big relic. This is huge for, absolutely huge for the Hades in this matchup, because Hades is going to be wanting to make Hippocon. Hippocon, very, very, well, they're already fast at 5.0 speed, but if you get that relic, they're going to go up to 6.05 speed, which basically means that that Terma, there's going to be zero reason to build them, because the Hippocon are just going to be able to waltz on over there, or should I say trot on over there, and cause some serious chaos. But we'll have to wait and see. The goat's coming back. Still has not spotted his hunt. Kvoth is very, very much in a very difficult position right now. He's moving forward onto this hunt over here. But here's the thing. Julian Papa's opening right now is looking great. It's looking clean. He's looking very, very happy. He's also found his giraffe over here. Now, while Julian might not be able to hit a 4:30 advance time with the wacky hunt that's actually spawned here, he will be able to get out a fairly early Ajax and start harassing this hunt of Kvoth. And Kvoth's going to have to work out how he's going to be able to defend when all is said and done. As, look at this, he's getting his temple up. I wouldn't mind, he's now found his rhinoceros over here, so he will be able to like lure this in to his base a little bit, potentially lure it in and then drop Gaia Forest there as he drops his Gaia Forest around his home goal by making sure that he's going to be able to defend this one here. It's a nice job here blocking up his base. And we'll see how things are going to eventuate here as the Ajax is out. This is what I said was going to happen. There's two options here for this Ajax. The first one is to roam down here and grab this relic and then bring it back to your temple. And the second one is to just run over onto this food over here. But I don't know if Julian Papa is quite aware that this is where the hunt villages are at this point, as the Ajax just moves forward onto this granary over here. Super late advance time from both players. Kvoth advancing here for 5:15. So 10 seconds of idle time in the classical age. Julian Papa also advancing late here in this game. We do see the Trios bow getting picked up here, plus 2 archer range. That's gigantic. And not only that, we see Kvoth moving over here to try and claim this Mithril Horseshoes. The Ajax is already on the way, though, as it seems that Julian Papa is going to be winning this race here for this relic. Kvoth going to be very, very upset about this one, because it's a big relic to be grabbed. That being said, though, with that extra 2 range on the Terma, this does change things quite a bit. Extra 2 range means that you can shoot a little bit further back, meaning that extra speed that the Hippocon get maybe is nullified. So that advantage that Julian's going to get with that relic is not going to be that big of a deal, as we do see the Katoskopos coming over onto this location here. The giraffe almost fully eaten up. And look at this, 4 villagers on this hunt at this point is very, very rare situation. The question is going to be, what is Kvoth going to be building here in his main base? He goes for 1 military barracks. He goes for 1 counter barracks. So he's not going for the double Murmillo that you might have expected here at the start. Instead, just goes for something a little bit more standard. As we see the Minotaur Ajax coming out. We've got villagers moving off of the hunt over here. Going to be dropping a town center for Julian Papa. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Generally speaking here, what Kvoth does is he sends his automaton over to harass this town center while he defends with his oracle and everything over here. But now we see the units pushing through. There's still a little bit of food left in this giraffe for Julian Papa to harass. And Kvoth, he's in a very difficult position here. The citizen runs maybe a little bit out of the way. There's a couple more units coming over here. Karan getting some good damage done onto the Oracle hero over on this location. Going to be starting to chop down the tree over there as well as the Ajax gets pushed back. The Oracle hero is still chasing this one down. Kvoth's got plenty of resources in the bank, and this early pressure has been basically thwarted here. Kvoth finishes up his hunt over there, and he's going to have to start thinking about getting himself a second town center here at some point soon, as the town center is now up for Julian Papa. Not only that, here's another thing that's really, really big for Julian Papa's position. This gold mine back here is absolutely gigantic. A wall over on this location here potentially, or even over here and grabbing this gold mine as well, plus sentinels and some military buildings here will secure this gold mine and make it really tough for Kvoth to do anything here in this game. As the army going to start moving across the map looking for something to do here. Do we see the units still getting built? Yes, we do. Still making those Terma out here. A little bit surprised to see Kvoth retreating his villagers here. Just a little bit surprised, because he could have jumped all 4 of those villagers onto this wood line and saved all the walking time back into his base here, and then sent the villagers on the wood in his main base over onto the rhinoceros here, and had a decent kind of transition there. Obviously, you have to defend those wood villages, but we see Kvoth trying to push through. The Ajax, Chiron, Minotaur, a little bit too strong on that position there, as Kvoth going to be retreating back ever so slightly, looking for somewhere to go. Walls starting to come up on this corner here. Like we said, this is a really, really big wall here, and also another wall plus some military buildings to connect up. This wall going up over here as well for Julian Papa. He is playing this early game very, very nicely. He's got good population, good villagers coming through. We see the army going to be sneaking around the back here. And look at this. Julian Papa is going for a 3rd town center. Not going for a 3rd town center. Has gone for a 3rd town center. Kvoth is now going to have to really start thinking, how is he going to be able to slow Julian Papa down? Julian's got a handful of goats in his main base. He's got the berries over here. So one thing that he does have to worry about here is that he's not going to be able to finish up this 300 food on these giraffe, which is a big deal, because right now he's going to have 0% on this town center. He'll probably have 0% on this town center. He's got 0% on this town center as well here. Thank you for the 12 months, Marty. Appreciate you, my friend. As Kvoth's still going to be searching around looking for some harassment, and we see both the town centers coming down now for Kvoth. The big thing that Kvoth does that kind of separates him from, say, Uranus players role-playing as Gaia players is that Kvoth is always sneaking out extra little upgrades. You can see that Kvoth right now, he's got himself Bowsaw, he's got himself Channels, he's got himself Pickaxe. He's probably going to be able to get himself Shaft Mine soon. He'll be able to get himself the farm upgrades as well, which is going to give him a really, really big power spike in the middle of this game. The problem is, and I think this is going to be something that he really is going to have to think about, is how does he win this game? Because he's not going to be able to get a solid gold staff here. The units retreating back over into this position need to be careful, because once once Julian gets some units out, this is not going to be all too useful as the Sentinel's able to pick off a Terma or two as these units are just hovering around the base here of Julian Papa. Julian here, he's got himself towers, he's getting himself farms. He can't really build any military and support this boom here, but it doesn't matter. I love this play from Julian. This is perfect counter Gaia play, in my opinion, from the Hades. You just have to make sure that you get something out before the Gaia starts creating problems for you, as the towns that are just about to come up. I imagine Kvoth here, he's going to be going for the heroic age. 3 town center, like kind of semi-fast heroic with like a handful of military units. It's going to be a really, really fast 3 town centers for a heroic age. Then the question is going to be, does he then go for the mythic age, or does he go for a heroic age timing, or does he just try and get booming? All of those things are questions we're going to get answered very, very soon, as this automaton does manage to snipe a villager here, as the villagers are trying to sneakily grab some zebra on this position, not wanting that to be allowed, as we do see cheeky spider eggs getting thrown down over here. This is a bit of a wild spot to chuck those. I'm not sure it's going to be all too useful, but maybe he can get some distraction action and pick up a couple of units with the spider eggs there at some point. As farms coming down here for Kvoth, he's got himself his plow upgrade already. I imagine he's going to get into irrigation very, very shortly here, and armory going to be coming up as well, as the villagers moving over onto secondary gold mines and all the other good stuff. It looks like, is Kvoth still building some units? No, he's not. Another Gaia Forest coming down. I think that's the third Gaia Forest. Yes, the third Gaia Forest has been thrown down here. Now, the big question is, this is kind of pushing the game along, because we are going to be teching up very soon from Kvoth. He's probably going to go for Rhea here. But do you go for Hecate in the end, or Atlas? With the idea of Hecate, you can possibly utilize a combination of Tartarian Gate and Gaia Forest. If you wedge the Tartarian Gate into a forest and then Gaia Forest it, you can make a lot of you can make it really, really difficult to deal with that against a civilization like Hades, who wants to be just trying to melee that Tartarian Gate down. Doesn't have any flying units like the Stymphalian bird or anything like that to really deal with it. Or do you go for Atlas and you just try and pick up a whole bunch of units and start overwhelming your opponent with the ridiculous economy that comes from being Gaia? Those are the questions you have to ask there. As Gaia irrigation coming through, military barracks coming down in the middle of the map here. Kvoth's got lots of resources in the bank here to drop a palace. Julian Papa going to be attempting to get to the heroic age here very, very fast. Smart play to do that, because getting Curse, though I don't think it's the right call in this exact situation. I think maybe you just go for the Apollo, but getting Curse is going to be able to really solidify your position and allow you to hang on here in this game. As we see the Terma with that 14 range. 14 range. They're able to basically shoot the Toxotes as the Toxotes are able to shoot those, which is actually a big deal, as these villagers making their way out across the map here. It looks like Kvoth spots that here. Nice play. A couple of military buildings coming up over on this position here, as the army chasing these villagers down doesn't actually spot them moving off to a different direction. They're too busy focusing on dropping the palaces in the middle of the map here, as Kvoth is getting his destroyers out. Arcus coming out, going straight into destroyer Arcus. A really, really good idea here, as Julian Papa throwing some military buildings down in the middle of the map here, maybe giving a little bit of a weakness here for Kvoth to exploit here. Gaia flood control coming through as well for Kvoth. His economy is about to start skyrocketing, and Kvoth knows this game potentially is going to be going late game. He's dropped the market right in the corner from the get-go. He wants that economy to continue skyrocketing. He knows that he's playing Atlantean. He's got only 25 villages to play with. His opponent's got citizens to play with, whereas Julian Papa's got 80 villages to play with, so he needs to continue that production of economy to keep his economic edge here in the game. One thing to remember is that with Gaia creating llama caravans, as we do see Trader coming in, stealing that Nemean line. Nice play there. Normally we see the players deleting that to disallow the Trader from really doing anything. But getting this trade caravan out and having Gaia Llama caravan, you get channels. It's an extra 20% move speed from the get-go, as we see a forward palace coming up, as Kvoth, he isn't going for any sort of fast any sort of fast mythic here at all. He is going for mass palace to push in here to take down these buildings. The Arc is coming through to try and take out these units to boot. Palace here does not have Masons, but Masons is coming through to help this palace stay alive. Fortified town centers, medium infantry coming through, more destroyers coming in to break through these locations here as the palace going to start shooting down the pacifist on this position. These two villages able to repair this one back up. Mason's going to start helping out quite a lot here as Julian Papa has to retreat back. It's 114 of 145 population to Kvoth, who's at 160 of 160 population with tons of medium destroyers here. We see the spider layer getting dropped down as well, which is going to be an attempt to retreat there, and copper shields also coming through as Kvoth is putting this crazy pressure on to the town center. That is so many medium destroyers here. One thing that Kvoth isn't doing here is he's not refocused the palace. There he goes on the refocus. He could also throw up some towers on this position, which would be really, really strong here. As Julian Papa, he's casting Restoration, trying to keep himself alive in this game. Restoration doesn't work that well on buildings if the building is attacking, and the town center falls as Kvoth has managed to push through here and make things very, very difficult for Julian Papa moving forward. Julian Papa at 80 villages, plenty of resources in the bank, but sitting at 130 or 130 population. Another palace coming down for Kvoth as he is just attempting to completely control this location with nothing but military buildings and archers and destroyers. This is such a strong timing here from Kvoth as the town center getting denied over and over again. Kvoth's going to be able to put up another palace here really, really soon. And here's the thing, he doesn't even need to get any technologies at this point because he knows that these palaces, they just add so much value here, and Julian Papa has to stay here and fight as Julian Papa goes, all right, time to retreat, reset, and potentially go for a heroic age here, or mythic age, I should say, as a market getting dropped. Potentially earthquake here on this position could be enough to break everything. If Kvoth is thinking kind of a couple of steps in front in this game, he might want to consider just throwing down like 5 military buildings around these, or a bunch more military barracks around these palaces to keep them alive to an earthquake that could potentially come down. Barracks around this town center as well to boot wouldn't be a bad idea here as Julian Papa retreats back up into this position over here. The unit's pushing forward. Toxotes trying to micro down those archers, but as Kvoth controls this, he puts the destroyers in front. Obviously, that's where you're going to put them, and it makes life really, really tough for the Hades player as the destroyers are going to start moving into this position, taking out everything else. And here's the thing, they could sneak around the back here now, catch these units out of position, take out this town center, and start looking for the gold staff to completely win this game, especially with heavy infantry coming through. Another palace getting thrown down here for Kvoth as the army moving back, realizing exactly what's happening here as the destroyers are on their way. Copper Mail coming through, Hephaestus on the way. This palace coming in is huge. The question is going to be, will Kvoth be able to get to the mythic age or not? The one thing that he can rely on though is having Traitor. He still has Traitor in this game. So a Colossus that comes through is is not going to be that big of a deal because you can just steal it away and not have to worry about it. As we do see the farms, he's deleting the farms on this town center here at this point to add more military buildings potentially here as well. As Mail of Orichalcos coming in, heavy archers coming through as well. Destroyers trying to retreat away from these units here. There's not that big of a deal here for Kvoth. Julian Papa, is he doing anything else anywhere else on the map? He's getting a market up in the corner. Arc is coming up to that corner to check out exactly what's going on over there as the Sentinel is going to be getting taken down over here to boot as Atlas now clicked up a little bit behind on the mythic age, but it doesn't really matter. He's got all the control. His economy is gigantic. He's only got himself 4 llama caravans at this point, which is a little bit less than one might expect here at this point. But I guess, I mean, when you've built 4 palace, is it 4 palace, 5? When you built 5 palace, you can expect to not really be able to afford all that much stuff here in this game. And when I say that many, we're getting another palace. If you don't realize, part of Gaia having infinite resources is that Oftentimes, Gaia gets stuck there at 160 population and the resources just explode. Kvoth realizes that instead of just getting useless upgrades like, I don't know, armory upgrades or anything like that, you can just spam palace around, and that's completely fine. As we see Trader stealing the Colossus away, breaking the temple down. Mithril Horseshoes gets dropped there as well. Kvoth going for the main town center while this is all going on. He's now going to be able to use this distraction time to grab this town center, and I think what Kvoth wants to do in the end of this is hit Mythic Age, cast Implode, and then start making Fanatics here, ladies and gentlemen. He's got so many palace here to make Fanatics that he can just make them like they're nothing in a big way. Stone walls coming through as well. There's the Implode coming down on the main base, making Julian Papa just absolutely helpless here. He's going to lose all of his units here. He's even going to lose some villages to boot. This town center is not going to be able to get back up. Julian Papa is desperately trying to repair this one, but all the villagers getting sucked in, and the damage about to come through, exploding that, destroying the town center. All the villagers just completely get destroyed there, and Julian Papa drops down to 103 of 90 population as this town center attempting to come up here. We see the destroyers sitting up on the top side of the map. It looks like the Petropolis may be able to deny this town center, and I mean, there are gas graffiti here getting some good damage done as the Arcus push through trying to take these ones out here, and we see Kvoth just says, no worries, not time to get the town center. He doesn't need it. Just going to put up another palace, because why not put up another palace here? Heliopolis starting to come out for Julian Papa. Going to be starting to push through on this position, but I imagine we're getting Fire Siphon, we're getting Fanatics. Look at Kvoth's resources. How are you spending this many resources and yet still have resources in the bank, as he's just able to hold this position? Obviously, he's not losing units, which is a really, really big help here, as champion infantry to boot coming through. Kvoth's economy is gigantic. Look at the llama caravans. Coinages come through as well. They're flying across the map at 5.32 speed, and economic kill going up here just to make sure of everything as the Heliopolis gets disposed of incredibly fast here. Incredibly fast. Those fire siphons, little known fact about siege weapons is siege weapons are really actually quite good against each other, with the exception of Greek. Greek siege doesn't seem to be that great against other siege. I'm not exactly sure why. I could be making things up, but fire siphon are incredibly good against Heliopolis, as we are seeing Kvoth's fire siphon starting to roll forward to take out the fortress over here. We've got some units coming around, could potentially start trying to take out the large gold mine on this position. We see the town center about to pop back up. I imagine Kvoth might try and send maybe like one destroyer in or something to deal with that, as the temple going to be getting taken down as well, stopping any sort of favor income as bronze mail coming through for Julian Papa. The fortress getting taken down as well. Kvoth still hasn't tried to grab this, or he has tried to grab the town center, but he hasn't successfully given himself that 180 population he so desperately needs here, as bronze mail and quarry coming through for Kvoth. Iron shield on the way now for Julian Papa, as the sentry towers coming in for Kvoth, making sure he can hold this position. Meanwhile, over here we do see a sneaky raid coming in for Julian Papa, trying to make something happen here, as Kvoth retreats back and to be taking down these villages very, very easily, very, very nicely, and still trying to break down all of these military buildings that Julian Papa has thrown down. Julian is on such a low amount of resources, desperately trying to get max value out of every unit that he's got out here. But Kvoth is just happily sitting full population, nearly full armor. He's got actually a lot of armor to actually get here. He needs his bronze weapons and his iron, and iron is very expensive. His iron weapons, iron shields coming through. Villagers now able to start getting the town center up here. He's putting 3 citizen onto that one to get it up as fast as he possibly can, taking out this archery range here, and having already taken out the fortress means no cheeky gas graffitis or Heliopolis to stop the production of that town center. As the Argus comes through here, that's going to get taken down very, very fast by Chiron. Town center is back up for Julian Papa as well. 47 villages down from 80 at one point here, as Kvoth is literally all over Julian Papara in this game. Those 5 fire siphons starting to roll in to try and take out this town center. As Julian Papara not paying attention here, he finally pulls those off. The villagers are going to be able to absolutely total these fire siphons. There's nothing there at this point. Now Kvoth decides to retreat back, thinking he might have been able to sneak through there. So many fire siphons being built here. It might be a better idea to potentially go into like Contarius for a little bit here if he can afford it, but obviously resources not quite there. Draft horses coming in actually for Kvoth. He's already got himself engineers. There's the town center now up for Kvoth. 4 town centers to 2 town centers, 25 citizen, 15 llama caravans with the boosted speed. So you kind of have to every 5 llama caravans you have to add an extra llama caravan to kind of work out exactly where he's at. So so you'd be at 18 llama caravans, so pretty close to that 20 trade route unit number that you kind of look for in the late game. Not only that, being at 180 pop, you kind of need a little bit more than 20 to make it all work. As Kvoth now rolling forward. That's so many fire siphons here. Villagers coming into this battle here to take these ones out as the town center is going to get some damage here. And Kvoth is just content with continuing to build these fires. And 3 idle villagers in this palace, though. I'm not sure exactly what the deal with that is there. As Kvoth moving around the map, gold mine about to expire here, and this is also a very, very desperate moment here in this game, because this palace has got eyes on this gold mine. This gold mine expiring means the villagers are going to want to come over here, but there's already watchtowers on this position, and with those citizens that were over here, he can just start moving in and continuing to place buildings. And in that moment, Julian Papara taps out, and Kvoth shows why opting in to a boom war against Gaia is a very difficult thing to succeed when you're playing against Kvoth, one of the best Gaia boomers out there, one of the best players at utilizing Gaia's resources. He is able to keep the excessive amount of income that comes in with Gaia and use it so absurdly well. You can see, look at this. This is the difference here between a 3 town center. Julian had the town center first. A 3 town center Hades, immediate 3 town center Hades versus a delayed 3 town center Gaia, and it just shoots into the stratosphere. And the thing is, normally Gaia and Hades is actually going to be able to match up against the Gaia's extra resources with his stronger army, but you have to actually be putting pressure onto the Gaia, light pressure, and making sure he can't get close with his citizens to spam those palaces out. But because Julian Papara went for the 3 town center defensive thing, he just gave map control over to the Gaia, which is definitely something you're going to be struggling to make a comeback against. Incredible play there from Kvoth, winning the first game. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.